Hello, welcome to Process Guy. In this video, we will look at how we are going to complete the home page and also be able to complete the contact page so that we can deploy the website online. So what we want to start with is the banner. I want to be able to adjust this banner in such a way that we are going to put some little effect on it. I want the text or the search area to be different from what it is now. I want to change the banner section to have its own component so that we can call it when we need it so that to decongest what is on the home page. So I'm just creating a banner component, which is pretty straightforward. I already have it copied in the clipboard, so I paste everything I have there so I can focus all my effort here. Then I want to bring in the icons that I use, which is Bootstrap icons. So I can then focus on the search area. The search area section, it's supposed to be what we're going to be using that in the future in such a way that we'll be able to search for any courses there and we'll be able to use that and navigate to the course of our choice. So right now I want to put the search button in such a way that I will be able to click it and it should function. That's the idea. So I think the width is okay for what we have there. This should work. And the next thing is for us to be able to have a button right there, but my button should be an icon. So you can see it's on the bottom there, but I want to put it in line with the text box. So I'm going to first of all change it to a button. It's just an icon or it's just an icon now. And the next thing I want to do, I want to make it inline to make it in line with the search box or text box. So I want to make some settings in this style sheet in such a way that I can set the margin to make it fall inside the text box so that it will look as if the button is floating, even though it will be a button, it will be functional eventually. And I think I need to increase the font of the button so that we have a custom font that we've created. So I have FS font size 567 already created. The next thing I want to do is for me to be able to add one or two components on one or two style beside the guy. That part that you have, congratulations. I want to have something else, more like a bookshelf or a bookmark, just to catch the user's attention. It's just to give the banner a facelift so that it's not just plain like this. I want to add some dynamism to the banner. So I have already something designed. I want to make adjustments to the CSS in such a way that the book I've added now, more like a bookmark, should be on the top right corner of the guy, and we want to have it animated in such a way that it will be bouncing. Now this is advanced class for CSS. Eventually in the future we'll be releasing more videos on animations on CSS using CSS, but for now just let us just have it as it is now. So we have our animation right there. So let's go to the main part of this video, and that is ability for us to filter the courses that we have here. Remember what we did last time, the last video, we were able to present this, but I said in this video we're going to be doing some filter. And what do I mean by that? You will notice that we have different level for all these courses. So we need to be able to present the level so that we can click on each of this level and the system will filter based on what we have. So first of all, we need to be able to go through all the courses, like the same thing that we have in line 8 to line 13. I want to do list of all the courses again, but this time around I want to extract the level out from the data that we have. So this is me extracting the the levels out. And once that is done, the next thing I want to do is that I want to build buttons out of those level. So I have those level in level array. So but now I want to build button out of it. So I need to declare another variable called level buttons. And the idea of this is that our buttons can sit inside there. So I'm pushing an array of anchor there, and the idea of this is so that I can have all my buttons. So I'm using key. Key is so that because I'm going to have more than one button, more than one anchor, so I need to use key to make sure that it's unique. So when any update is going on, React will know how to manage the updates. So the next thing I want to put is also the value. The value is what it is that we have there. So if you look at the screen now, let's now add that under the section. So that let's report all the buttons. So when you report all the buttons, you have all the levels combined together. It's giving us all the buttons in the database. Of course, you don't want to display all the buttons like this. You want to be able to filter the buttons to make it unique, to only show the unique ones. But while we're trying to do that, let's give it a more appealing look, and let's style it to make it look proper. So the next step of action is so let me show you the data so that you see what is going on in the data. So if you look at the courses, you have advanced, you have intermediate, you have novice again. So you will see duplicates across board, but that's normal for data. But what is not normal is us also having the duplicates here. So we should be able to filter our results in such a way that we will only see unique value. And to do that, we need to make an if condition to provide that, to make that happen. So this if block that we're adding, make sure that the value is equal to, is unique across board. And we'll also do another video on filter so that I will break down how filter works. We use filter a lot on this video, so you need to also have a good understanding of how filter works. So now that we have our buttons in a unique form, or it's only showing it's not showing duplicates anymore. Now that our buttons are not showing duplicates anymore, we can then properly style this section. So what I want to do is that I want to make my button and the header of the whole group fall in the same place, such that it will not have excess space, where it is right now. Good. Let's make it look more pretty. Let's add some styling to it, and let's now add our functionality to it. Now we need to create an event, a click event, such that whenever we click it, it's going to do something. Know that what we want to give it, the event we want to give it, is going to have a parameter. You're going to request a parameter from it, and that's why we're creating a closure function, such that we can, when we create the function, we can pass parameter to it. So we're passing value to it. That value is what will be selected, is what was clicked, and that will be the value that we'll have there. We're picking that from the previous function, and then we're using it to create a new function here. So you can see I just test that and everything is working. On click, it will give us what was passed there. So what we want to do now is that we want to make sure that the course list is also being saved in use states, because we want to be filtering it. So whenever we filter, our results will be saved in course list, and it will be saved, and React will know what data is being used. So we need to change these props to course list, and then in our level click section, we need to change the course list, and our results will follow suit. So here I'm creating a new list in such a way that I'm making that new list equal to the set course list, such that we can now filter the general database and make sure that I'm removing, or I'm making sure that the level that was clicked is the only one that is showing me right now. Again, we are here with the filter. So like I said, I will do another video to explain more about filter, for you guys. But this filter looks so simple because we're just packing, we're just selecting the value and we're checking if the value dot level, remember the level is coming from the database. So if the value dot the level is equal to what is selected, and if that is equal to what is selected, it will give you, it will only push that value into the new list, and that new list will be entered into the set course list. And you can see that it's working based on what we've done. The next thing we want to do is that we need to make sure that when you click any of the level, it should be able to save the state so that the color will change based on the fact that that is the selected value. So this is the part where we'll make that change happen. We'll use button outline primary and we'll change it to button primary. So we need to check and make sure that if it is selected here, we need to make sure that if the current level is selected here, that's if the selected level is equal to what it is that we have as a value, what should happen? It should change the class of the button. So that's what we're about to do here. So we've added that code there. So this one is, we've changed one to primary and we changed one to outline. So this code should work. So let's move on to the next thing. The next thing we want to do is to set the default value. So the default value is blank, meaning by default, you shouldn't set anything. Now, when we are handling level click, we should be able to set the selected one. So apparently it's not working because of our ternary condition there. The ternary condition does not allow us to add a string and concatenate with another ternary operation. So it's just required that we only have the ternary operation there without the concatenation. So we remove the concatenation and we have our decision, our value inside there, and our results is showing our value is working there. So we can give it a test and try it now. So if we click, you can see that the color is staying there based on what it is that we click. As we click, it's remembering that that is what was selected and it's keeping that icon visible to you. So even if we make changes and then we change database, you can see now Novice now has 3 data compared to what was there before. So once the data change, the interface also will change to match up with what it is that that should be there. The last thing we need to add is that how do you select all? For example, you want to be able to select all. So I'm duplicating one of the components that we have there, or one of the anchor elements. I'm duplicating it in such a way that, I'm bringing it before the array, before we start doing filter. I'm setting it up there so that it will be added to the button by default. So I'm calling it all. So once you click on all, it should give you everything. So by default, once you handle click, the value should be empty or it should be blank. So I'm making a choice. I'm checking now if the selected is equal to empty. So if it's equal to empty, go and do all that. If it's not equal to empty, just display all the result from the database. That's what I'm doing there. So let's give it a try again. So if we click all, it's showing everything. If we click every other one, it will just be giving us what it is that it's supposed to be there. So I guess that's what we have there on filter. The next part we want to go to is the footer section. The footer section is pretty straightforward as because it's just majorly CSS and HTML. So I won't be talking much on this section. I'll just leave you guys to see what I did there. But I did something pretty interesting. under the footer section, I added something new, which is call to action. Call to action is a concept in web development. What that means is that as you go through websites, there will be a particular section that will require you to do something, call to action. So whenever you feed user information, you give them a lot of information to consume. You need to give them a break and send out call to action. That call to action will allow them to trigger what to do next. So you can say, okay, start learning now or call us today. So that's what typically we call call to action. So I'm creating a call to action here that we just say start learning today. And I will also be providing two buttons. One will be sign up and the other one will be call. So like the word denote call to action, I'm creating some bunch of styles that will help me to denote, to make what I'm doing pop out. So it looks cool, but I think we need to put some design to it. I need to design the section of one of the card because I think we have two cards there or one card. So I need to make this interesting so that to catch the attention of the user. So I have this border going on, the rounded edges going on, and I was not satisfied with what I was seeing. I want to do something way different from the regular border. I tried the peel, and whatnot. All these are from Bootstrap, which is fantastic, in its own right. So you can tell me what you think about all this border, rounded border in the comment section. But I went on to use something way different just to give me a different look. This was also not bad, but I tried to use something different. So I decided to go with custom borders. So when I just put my custom border, what my custom border allows me to do is to go crazy, guys. I just went to do something different that was not conventional. And these are all CSS, as you can see the code there. But I actually got some help somewhere, so that something that helped me did it better, instead of me manually doing it. So I use this site, Fancy Border Radius, to decide on how wide or how rounded an edge will look like, and that gives it a kind of its own fancy design. So that's how I was able to come up with the design that you guys saw there. And the final thing is to put this is the proper footer. So we did call to action with journey with footer, but call to action can also be separate, as the case may be. But I'm just joining it with footer now because it's not a very large site, so it's okay to join it together. So at this part, I have my social media handle section. I'm kind of creating a template, just putting a pointer as where I'm going to put all the things later. So this is me creating the proper footer that has the social media handles, the copyrights, and also going to have the links to all the hosting there. And you can, put quite a lot of things under this section because that's the ending of your website. You can put even a phone number can go there. Most times people don't have to go to the contact page to pick the phone number. You can actually put phone number at the bottom part and also address if it's the kind of website that people want to reach you on immediately. So you can do something like hotline and things like that. But in this case, I just did something simple. So you can just do what is good for your own website. At this point, I decided that each of these websites are supposed to have their own color. Each of these social media handles are supposed to have their own color. I can't just use one color for all of them. So I gave them their color. And I think finally we are done with the footer. So we go to the next part of the page, which is the contact us. I won't be doing anything on the courses for now because the courses is supposed to be a dynamic section. So we'll be skipping that for now and we'll go straight to the contact us so that we can complete what we're doing. So the contact us pass require an image for us to be able to display on the page, and you can use Google search to check for contact image. Based on your search criteria will depend on what will show for you, and this can take a long time to get results, but you just have to find something that will, that works for you. Image are one of the things that people relate with whenever they are checking throughout, whenever they are going through websites. So you we also need to invest in images and take time to actually search for images that will communicate what it is you are trying to, you know, do on your website. Yeah, I think this should be okay for me. So this is your CSS, nothing too serious here. Bringing in the image from, I've already saved it in public, and then making sure everything is centered and properly aligned. So I want to make sure that the image also covers the whole section that it will be sitting. I also have a fixed height so that every time the image will be on that height. Then I need to put contact so that you know where you are. You are in the contact page. So what I want to do now is to make sure that the contact text shows very well. So I create an overlay in such a way that the background will be a little bit darker so that the text can show. The next thing we wanted to do is a get in touch form. So this form, is supposed to allow users to get in touch with the site owners. So that's what I did in that section. But before the form, we created a sections where you can get quick info like the address, the phone number, and the social media handle. So we created that section. That section is on the right hand side. You can see that our icons are really coming in handy. Really coming in handy. So now we have the social media section. At this point, it occurred to me that we were supposed to convert this to a component because this is me copying and pasting the same code, which is not really ideal. The normal thing was for us to create a component out of the social media handle and just call that component and we're good to go. But this is going to be corrected in the next video. So now let's get to creating our forms. Even though this form won't do anything for now, but it's a placeholder for the time when we're going to need it when we are doing backend, because we'll be sending mail to anybody that comes to fill this form. They will get a mail and we will get a mail as well. That's the purpose of what this form is all about. So we require them to give us their name, their email address, and of course we want to know why they are contacting us, the topic or the subject, what it is that they want to know. And finally, we want to also have the message. what it is that they want to talk to us about. Thank you for staying to the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you in the next one.